guys, we just had almost probably a good little hour combo just talking about the Concacaf Gold Cup and the countries participating and everything about it. But y'all, I want to break it down, Julian. Let's go predictions, dude. I know you got a lot of hot thoughts. I got a lot of hot thoughts. This is exciting, man. It's a good time to be a CONCACAF man amongst who we are and amongst the other men and women out there that love the beautiful game in our region. So, but yeah, man, I'm excited. Overall thoughts, dude. I know we're literally a few days away from the tournament. What all are you just an overall prediction from the tournament? What are you expecting?
I'm expecting things to finally change. I don't I I I think you're looking at a USA team that looks really weak. Um, Mexico, they're coming in strong, but then they did get a result against Turkey. They did get smoked against Switzerland. So I'm curious to see how they bounce back from everything that's happening. You have a lot of teams with a ton of injuries. Panama is missing some players. Jamaica seems to be coming full stack. I know Costa Rica for sure is coming full stack, and a couple other teams. It's going to be really interesting. I think this might be one of the more competitive Gold Cups that we are going to see in a long time. Like I genuinely believe
Yeah.
that it feels like everything leading into this tournament is setting it up to be really interesting. I don't know if you feel that way.
Yeah, a little bit, dude. I think I'm not gonna lie, adding on the World Cup qualifiers on top of this, which start up in what about 3 months time period, I think is just like you said, dude. I think it adds to the excitement. Obviously, we just wrapped it up. That's gonna be for another video. We're gonna break that down and our predictions for round three. Stay tuned, y'all. Subscribe to the channel. But yeah, man, I'm with you, dude. I think it's gonna be a fun tournament, and more than fun, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a little bit nasty, man. I think some teams got some things to prove, and want to get the job going. But yeah, man, listen, Group A, I really want to get into it, dude. Let's get it rolling. Like we said, Group A, this is the first group: Suriname, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, and Mexico. For our people watching that did not already know that, Julian, just dive into it right now before you get into a prediction. Costa Rica, are you guys getting dead last in this group? Like, I think it's projected for you guys. I'm playing.
Yeah. Yeah, hell no. No, I actually personally, um, I
Yeah.
feel really good about coming in this tournament, and this is the first time I felt good about Costa Rica coming into this Gold Cup in a long time. This is by far our
Oh.
strongest roster that we have put into the Gold Cup probably since 2015. I mean, God, freaking Navas is playing. Like, Navas never plays Gold Cups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm really excited because, like I said, the past few iterations in 2023 and 2021 and even 2019 where we even had a game to host, it's just we just never had our strongest lineups, you know, and I think a lot of people question, like, "Why isn't Costa Rica as good?" And I'm like, as somebody who watches them, for whatever reason, we just never seem to take it as seriously. I guess kind of like
Mm-hmm.
USA in that sense, but it feels like this time, especially with Piojo as the new manager, it's the last big tournament to the World Cup. You have this young generation. You really wanna see them play in a tournament format, and hopefully they can build off what we've seen in the Copa America, because I thought it was a really
Mm-hmm.
successful tournament last year, and I expect bigger things this year, especially with a little bit less tough, tournament. So, yeah, man, I'm really, really high on us. I don't wanna even sound like a biased person, but I genuinely believe that
Mm.
there's a really good chance we can make a semifinal run, um, because the fact that I think a lot of people have us under the radar. I mean, look, I keep my finger on the pulse on CONCACAF content. Now, I barely hear anybody talking about it. And I think if you look at the players that we've
Mm-hmm.
have and how well that they're playing, and it's kind of hard to judge, obviously, because we've been playing weak opponents. And then the one tougher opponent we had in the USA, that was like a C squad of like just like
Mm-hmm.
basically like, I don't know, league play players that aren't that great. But from what I've seen, especially against a big friendly that we had against Catalunya, where you have a lot of La Liga players, I was thoroughly impressed. I thought, yes, this is Belize, but we wouldn't have beaten Belize that dominantly like 5 years ago. We wouldn't have. We maybe would have beat them
Mm-hmm.
3-4 nothing. The fact that we dropped 8 on them, then 8 again, and then the Bahamas, we probably would have dropped 8 on them no matter what, even in the previous generation. But just watching these guys play, it's different. and I'm telling you, somebody's watched them my whole life. This team is just different. They are really good. They're really fluid in the passing game. They're tight windows. They're a lot more creative than I'm used to seeing them. And it seems like Piojo's kind of fitting this system perfectly. I know a lot of people rate Alfaro and what he's been able to do, not just for us, but obviously what he's currently doing in Paraguay. But in a way, I'm kind of feeling like Piojo's system is fitting us better for the talent that we have because he seems less scared. Because obviously, traditionally, we're known for being defensively strong and all this stuff, but Piojo's letting these guys play. We all know that their best players are in the attack. Why not take advantage of it? So, yeah, I'm feeling really good. And considering the group that we're going up against with the Dominican Republic and Suriname, uh, honestly, I know a lot of people are talking about, oh, Suriname. I personally don't see it. I don't. We're leaps and bounds ahead of them personally. I mean, I saw the last time we went up into, yes, it was a draw, but we're playing at Suriname and we got a red card right at half. Right when we're about to we're really putting a lot of pressure on Suriname, and then that kind of, like, changed a lot of the stuff. But, yeah, I've comfortably having us, getting out of the group, and I think we're really gonna push Mexico to the brink. I think this is going to be back to what we were seeing 10 years ago where we were having just straight brawls with Mexico and just going back and forth. I anticipate that this is probably gonna be another one. We're not gonna make it easy on them. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, dude, you don't even have to go back that far. I mean, just one of the recent Concacaf Nations League, if I'm not wrong, 2021 or 2022 edition, right after COVID, you guys had to go all the way to penalties. I think, like you said, this is a
We
strong.
always go to
I will
penalties
give
with
it.
them.
Yeah, I mean, you guys seem to always usually listen. You like you said earlier, dude, and we said this and we've talked about it before. You guys punch above your weight, and that's regardless with whoever you're playing. And I think I will say I don't want to say Costa Rica has a massive chip on their shoulder. I'm not talking about you guys got a whole full boulder rock on you guys, but I guys think you got a little bit of weight on you. I think you got some pallets on your back right now. Listen, with all the talk about the Dominican Republic, and especially you kind of hinted and alluded to it earlier with Suriname, all the talk about Suriname and Mexico trying to go back to back. I think Costa Rica has a little bit of pressure, a little bit, not even pressure necessarily, but a little bit of essence of, disrespect on their t-shirt,
I think that's the
that they need to
biggest
wipe
thing.
away from a lot of these pans. Yeah.
I think it's
So
having
I
to
think there is a
remind
little bit to
people who we
prove.
are. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, like you said, dude, Dominican Republic and Suriname, both of these teams, more or less, Dominican Republic is playing with full house money, especially the DR after who did just get eliminated. A solid Dominican Republic team, kind of want to give them a little bit of praise also, man. Listen, I was very, very high. You guys can ask Julian himself. I was so high to the point I thought they were going to beat Guatemala. I thought they had it in the wrap. Listen, on paper, yes, they beat Guatemala. They're miles clear of Guatemala. But as we've said before, the beautiful game is not played on the paper. Same thing with Suriname. A little bit of house money. Um, this is a team, obviously, a lot of dual nats with the likes of Hops, Vitiger, Ludwig, who plays the majority of these guys play over in the Everisi of Holland, of the Netherlands. Trying to remember her name. Hops plays over in Veneza of Italy. I'm probably butchering all of these names right now, but you guys get the point. But yeah, listen, I think this is a team that they the ceiling for both them and the DR is extraordinarily high, and for nobody watching, that Guatemala game against Dominican Republic was good. It was a it was a high intriguing, it was a fast, entertaining game. Dominican Republic took the lead 2-1. So this is no pushover team for Mexico or Costa Rica or even the Suriname. So this is something they have to be aware of, and obviously the names of a Mariano Diaz, who won't be playing in this tournament anymore, but still you have a Donny Romero, a Peter Frederico, obviously Pablo Rosario. And listen, man, and I watching in that Guatemala game, I think Pablo Rosario had to be man of the match for these guys. I think he brings a lot to this team. Obviously, the goalkeeping situation is an interesting one with if they go with the more veteran player Miguel Lloyd or Xavier Valdez. But regardless, this is a team that has talent, and they have guys on that field that have played at some of the highest levels. Obviously, in Edgar Puyol, who plays with the Real Madrid Castilla, teammates with Jeremy De Leon, the Puerto Rican. So there's guys on this team that can produce, but obviously the game is not played on paper. So overall, though, I just want to wrap it out with my prediction. And I know we didn't talk too much with the Mexico, but I think a lot has kind of already been noticed. I think we kind of honestly, dude, the two friendlies, I think we're kind of settling, to be real with you, Julian. I think that's kind of where Mexico's at right now. Listen, they can maybe beat a Turkey. If they play Turkey 10 times, they're probably going to sneak away 3 or 4 of those games, maybe even 5, but they're going to split it. And then with the Switzerland game, I think that was just kind of, like you said, they just kind of got blown over. Dude, physically, they just looked absolutely abused by those guys. But I do believe Mexico will be able to come into this group and quite handily, not full on throttle all 3 of you guys, but quite handily make it smooth. I would say they're going to take out 7 points. Costa Rica in second for me. I'm going to go, I don't know if this is too much of a surprise, but I got to go DR third. I just think Suriname's going to kind of get caught lacking a little bit. I think obviously after they play you guys, I think you guys are going to be able to beat them. And I just feel like Suriname's just they're going to be caught slacking a little bit. Listen, the biggest weakness on this team is their defense, man. They are very, very, very fragile. As much as they can score goals, they can go up the field, they can play at a high tempo, they can also get caught in the back. And I just think it's something that they were exposed to a little bit in that El Salvador game within the qualifiers. So we'll see. We will see. We will see with them. It is a little
Yeah,
flip flop with either
I
or, but
yeah,
yeah.
and I will say for like I pretty much I'm surprised you had them as 4th because I did too. Like I get
Mm.
that Suriname is like the darling of Concacaf right now for whatever reason, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, quite honestly, I don't see how. I mean, who have they beaten? Like, I mean, quite honestly, I think because they had that result into the Nations League of getting to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it now. I mean, they haven't scored more than 1 game except against Guyana.
Mm.
And against Guyana, they scored more than 1. Against Anguilla, which is the 2nd worst ranked team in the entire world. And then they beat St. Vincent and the Grenadines 4-1. So the only time they've scored more than 1 goal is against some of these extremely small nations. Because even if I go further
Right.
back into 2023, you're looking at Haiti, Cuba, Grenada, put like I don't know. And then on top of that, because I am half Puerto Rican, I do like follow the Puerto Rican national team as well. I watched every minute of that game. Suriname, I actually disagree with you. You say that they're very weak defensively. I think they're pretty solid defensively. I don't think they're amazing. I think it is their strength. I think their attack is horrid, especially with Geraldo Becker being out. Like, they cannot create chances to save their life. And look, I love this Puerto Rican national team. They're getting good. They're improving. They took it to the last game before qualifying. They just couldn't get over that hump. They needed El Salvador to, not Sur. They needed Suriname to put away 1 more goal, but they couldn't do that. And I just every time I see Suriname, I don't get it. Like I think a lot of people are just like you said, looking at on paper. Look at where these players play. They have so many dual nats. Well, how much does that help Jamaica? I mean, we say that about Jamaica all the time, but where has that led them? Semifinals at max? I mean, and they were doing
Yeah.
that before uh this whole generation of and and the thing too is like I don't want to sound like I'm bashing on Suriname because I do think what they're doing is really impressive. I think they are a growing nation. They're getting better and better, and this is good. They need progress. But I also think people are expecting too much out of them too soon. I don't think they're necessarily there yet. And
Yeah.
to really compete with the likes of Costa Rica. And when I look at this Dominican Republic team is really strong in the attack. They can put up goals. I've seen them put up goals.
Yeah.
They've done like you said, even going up 2-1 against Guatemala, they choked that lead, but they were playing at Guatemala, which is historically a really tough place to play. I just think on a neutral field, this Dominican Republic team's just gonna flow a little bit better. They're gonna create chances that I think Suriname just can't, and that's why I have them going 4th right there. And then Mexico, I think I look. This is gonna be. I'm gonna save it. We got a hot take video coming, but all I'm gonna say
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
I think Mexico, they're gonna go in there, like you said, way too comfortable, and they're gonna get caught.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say who they're gonna get caught by, but I genuinely
Mm.
believe they're going to get caught because they get too comfortable. But anyways, that's my
Yeah.
final thoughts on Group A. If you want to move on.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, real quick on the Mexico, I agree in the sense that they're going to get caught. Where they're going to get caught, I don't know. We're going to let the soccer gods, the Concacaf legends, we'll let them handle that. But I agree with you on that aspect. But yeah, Group B, dude, listen, for people watching, Curacao, El Salvador, Honduras, and Canada. interesting group, Julian. This has kind of already been regarded as the group of life, the group of anybody could get out of here. Obviously, looking at latest results, Honduras, dude, this is something. Now, to be fair, as a
Horrible.
Panamanian, yeah, I can't say too much. I can't speak crazy on him, but I have to say though, dude, Cayman Islands 1-0. I mean, confusing. El Salvador coming in a little bit
Antigua
decent
last
form.
night. Did you see Antigua and
Antigua,
Barbuda?
and that was at home. That was a home game,
Oh,
and that's even more concerning. But in regards to El Salvador, coming in decent form, not the worst. Obviously, getting a solid draw last night, but they were in contingency, barely squeaking by Puerto Rico, like you were talking about earlier. Canada, listen, I'll say it off the bat, dude. Straight up, this is the best team in the tournament. I think this is the hottest team, most form, best players, best coach, best atmosphere. I can already see the Canadian fans making the travel down to Los Angeles, whether it's there or
you
wherever
put
it
a
is on
lot
the
of
West
faith in
Coast.
these
I can
Canadian
see them.
fans.
Dude, you know what? I honestly, I can trust them because after Copa America last year, they did travel. Now, it's not massive numbers. I'm not saying they're bringing the whole, west side of Alberta showing up, but people are going to be there. People are going to be there. But we will see. We will see. And then Curacao, man, very impressive win yesterday, 5-1 over Haiti. Exciting team. Listen, this is a team that's in the past. This is not a new team like you were talking about with the Suriname or Dominican Republic that are kind of coming into the picture. This is kind of a team that's had their moments. 2019 made a quarterfinals. 2021 was in the tournament, ended up getting pulled out due to COVID restrictions. Half their team caught COVID before the tournament. Didn't make the 2023 edition, but still, this is a team that does well. Whether it's in League B, they can compete in League A. Curaçao's a little bit of a maybe perhaps you could say a potential dark horse now going into this tournament. Listen, Julian, I'll give my quick thoughts. Group standings. I got to go with the Rue Canadians, man. I think they're going to take first. Obviously, whether it's the likes, we talked about Stefan Estaquiao, which I'm surprised. I didn't know he was going to be playing in this tournament. He will be playing with Canada. I know the whole conflict of interest with him, whether or not it was FC Porto. I think that's a big man to have on the field, whether it's him connecting with Jonathan Osorio, Promise David, who got a couple goals this weekend with Canada. Obviously, Joe David, and the big name as well, Derek Cornelius in the back. So I think it's a strong team. I think this group is suited well for them. They're going to host the first game as well against Honduras in Vancouver. So I think it'll be a nice little start to them. Second place, I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this take, dude, but this is a team that, listen, man, with all due respect, actually, I already know you're not going to agree with me. This is a team that they can catch fire, and they're historically known for just catching fire at the most random moments in the most random tournaments and just being able to pull it off. And now that they have a coach, not only a coach that has World Cup experience, but he has experience within the game and this region. He already knows this region perfectly well because he was my former head coach, is Bolillo Gomez in El Salvador. I think this is a team that can compete. I think they do have not the most amount of pressure, but I think it's quite equal to Honduras in the sense of they have to go in here and they have to fight for that second place. And I think they're going to squeak it out. I don't think it's going to be convincing. I don't think it's going to be anything massive, but I think El Salvador is going to be able to take second place, Honduras third, and give me Curacao fourth. What do you got?
I completely agree with you with Canada. I think they're my favorite. I'm just gonna say right now to win the whole thing. I think they're just so hot right
Uh-huh.
now. They're so good on every single level. I think they're better than Mexico, to be honest with you. Granted, obviously Mexico won in the last head to head in March, but you're just looking at this Canada team. I am so much more confident with them than I would be with Mexico. Then again, Mexico does have history on their side and everything, but Canada easily. I mean, they're gonna dominate this group. I'm talking
Yeah.
about probably plus 10 goal differential. Like, they're going to absolutely obliterate this group because all 3 teams look really poor. Well, I'll take that back. Curacao, like you said, has been on a nice little run, but El Salvador does
Yeah.
not look great. Honduras has looked horrendous. I mean, they're struggling against some of these, like, really weak teams. The thing with El
Uh-huh.
Salvador is, and we saw it in the Suriname game where they they were at home, like, and it took what, a late goal to really, like, not late, I guess it was around, like, it was, like, the 30th minute, my bad, I got it mixed up with another game, but
Yeah.
either way, like this Honduras team, they're another team that they really struggle to score. I feel like between Honduras and El Salvador, these teams are struggling to score against really poor defenses. They're not playing well, and these are both home field merchants. Playing in El Salvador at home, that's where they're
I don't even know
best.
about Honduras.
Same thing about
I don't know
Honduras.
about
Like
Honduras though. Well,
I
with
don't know.
Mexico, yeah,
I feel like they always play well at
yeah,
home. But like when it comes to these bigger tournaments on a neutral field. Now, to be fair, Honduras does tend to get out of these groups, and I did have them second.
uh-huh,
But after everything that I'm seeing, I'm like, I have a hard time picking them to get out of this. Like, I genuinely do. Like, if it's like 1-0 in like what is it, the 80th minute against Antigua and Barbuda at home? Like, what is going on
yeah,
right now? Like,
can't do
I
that.
can't put my faith in him. But when I look at a team like Curacao, I think they got a lot of I think a lot of people are writing them off, but they could be a little bit of a wild card in this group that if they can shock, I don't know who they have first, but if they can shock like an El Salvador or Honduras, like I, I think they get out of here, man. Because look, El Salvador, they're the kings of being. One thing I'll give El Salvador credit is that they do handle games they should win. Like if they're
Uh-huh.
playing lower level teams, they do their job for the most part.
They handle their
Like, we
business.
saw it in
Yeah.
Nations League where they were in Group B, and that's how they got in because they handled business. Um, but look, man, Curacao 5-1 against Haiti. I mean, you heard me talk about Haiti in our tier list. I'm high on this Haitian team. I don't
Uh-huh.
think they're gonna be they're not no slouch or walking. They're gonna be tough. And the fact they put 5-1 on
Yeah.
them, like that's crazy, man. So I'm going Curacao second. I'm going Honduras
Oh,
third, and I'm going El Salvador
oh,
number 4.
ooh. If you're El Salvadorian or Honduranian, go ahead and drop in the comments why you completely disagree with Julian and myself to the Honduranians. But yeah, dude, exciting, interesting take. Okay. I can see it. I can see it. We'll find out. We'll find out later
And I
next
think
week.
El
But
Salvador
all
versus
right.
Honduras is gonna be a sloppy game. That's gonna be a rough watch.
Oh,
I really
dude. Listen, that you want to talk about Concacaf Prime, Julian? I think Bruce Arenas said it quite well. Concacaf's a mystery. It's just you don't know what to think about it. I think it's going to be like you said, Honduras El Salvador. That game is going to be. I think it's going to be a literal. I think they're going to bring back a war, dude. I think a second war is going to start between these two countries, man. But anyways, dude, let's roll into Group Three. My boys, Los Canaleros, Jamaica, Guatemala, and Guadeloupe. Guadeloupe. Interesting, dude. Listen, I think this group has a lot. It's a lot. But before I go, Julian, I want you roll ahead real quick. Roll me your predictions and break down the teams real fast for me.
Oh man. Imma tell you what, I'm worried
Uh-huh.
for y'all. I look, if this
Oh
was the
my
Nations
God.
League team y'all rolled out, I'd
Here
be like,
we
"Oh yeah,
go.
you
Here
get
we
out of this
go.
group you get out of this group easy." That's what I was saying, like,
Here we go.
but
Uh-huh.
dude, you guys are missing really big players. I mean, this is and then on top of that, what really worries me with you guys is you can't score. Like, you guys really struggle with that. I mean, yes, you
Uh-huh.
won 3-0 against Nicaragua a couple days ago, but those final
Uh-huh.
2 goals came in the last 5 minutes of the game. And like you said, you're even telling me on text, they should be up. They had plenty
Oh
of
God.
chances, and they should have been up like 6-0, but they can't put it away against
Julian
Nicaragua.
Julian's bringing the
Like,
receipts. We're pulling the
and I'm
receipts up.
like,
Here we go.
I'm worried. I do think you get out of this group. I do. I don't. Guatemala, they're such a tricky team to predict because one moment they're like high flying, they're moving, they look good, but then the next they get like smoked. Like I don't know what
Uh-huh.
happens with this Guatemalan team, and I see it with the fans too, where they're just like up and down, and the fans show out. Outside of USA and Mexico, Guatemalan fans are probably number 3 in terms of fans that show up to these tournaments, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a tough battle. And I looked last time Panama played Guatemala. I believe you guys are at 3 straight 1-1 draws in the
No,
history
we
right
beat them.
now.
We
Was
beat
it?
them last time 3 to
There was
0.
a
Yeah,
period
Nations League.
there. Okay, maybe it was recent Nations League, but there was a period where you
Uh-huh.
guys it is relatively recent. It was like 3 straight 1-1 draws. I want to say I have to look at the thing
Uh-huh.
again, but
Get a fact
anyways,
check on that one.
um, but then Jamaica. So I was ready. to go off on Jamaica coming into this
Uh-huh.
prediction. I love that we wait till like right before. It's like, look, man, no more games. This is it.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I was really, really close to putting Jamaica getting grouped, and I'm still kind of thinking about it. But
Uh,
I've liked their showing the past couple games. I think they're fully healthy. They're bringing in a full strength squad. Everybody's going to be there. I do think they're starting to play a little bit better under their new manager. I think the Panama Jamaica game is going to be really good and really interesting. Now,
Agreed.
in terms
I
of
agree with
Jamaica
that.
versus Guatemala, it seems like Jamaica always has the best of Guatemala, and I don't know if it's due to just athleticism or what, but they just always tend to have their number, it feels like. But this is a tough group. I really think this is a tough group. And then on top of that, you got Guadeloupe, who's a wild card. Like, you don't know what to expect. They're the wild card of this group.
Uh-huh.
They could upset
Agreed.
Guatemala. They could they could get a result against Jamaica. Like it's all over the place. And it's just what Jamaica are we gonna get? I don't think we're gonna get the same Panama. I think this is gonna be a weaker Panama team. I mean, without having the heart and soul in the middle of the field, it's gonna be tough. And
Uh-huh.
Guatemala, they've shown, especially in the last Gold Cup, they made to a quarterfinal. They got out of the group. They can they can compete in this. So, but with all that being said, I'm going Jamaica number one, I'm going Panama two, going Guatemala three, then Guadeloupe. If Guadeloupe was
Okay.
in that
Okay.
Canada group, oh, that'd be. I think
Yeah.
they might get a shot to get out of that thing. I don't know, but
Guadeloupe
not
would.
not in this group. I
Guadeloupe
think
would.
it's gonna be a little too tough with the top three teams in there. But I will say, do not rule out Guatemala. I think there's a realistic chance they can make it out of this group. It's just a matter of who's going to fall apart. But yeah, I have
Yeah.
Jamaica, I think, going first. They seem to be coming pretty full stacked at the moment, and they had a good last couple games, especially getting out of qualifying.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. Real quick, dude, before I jump into my predictions, I want to say what you were talking a little bit about Jamaica and break them down before talking about my own team in Guatemala and Guadeloupe. Dude, Jamaica had a very impressive Unity Cup. Not too much sure how many people watching. I don't know, Julian, if you were too in tune with that as well, but Jamaica
Two
looked quite
two and tune.
impressive, dude. Yeah, my bad. Had a little in tune with that. But dude, I was in tune with Jamaica getting in tune with those games, dude. Trinidad and Tobago, obviously it wasn't the most convincing result. Beat them 3-2. That Nigeria game really kind of opened my eyes up a little bit more with this team. Ronaldo Cephas, listen, big man plays out of Turkey, right winger, incredible game in that Nigeria game. Obviously, and keep in mind, no Leon Bailey, no Ethan Pinnock. I don't even think no Mason Holgate. It was Casey Palmer, Ronaldo Cephas, and a couple other guys. No Corey Bird, no Damian Lowe, none of those
Antonio.
guys. Yeah, no Michael Antonio, no Damari Gray. So it was this is almost like a B pushing C roster team. Was able to compete, looked well, looked strong. Were able to move well in regards to that tournament. Now, Jamaica, as you were saying though, as a whole, Julian, this is a team that obviously on paper, out of all the teams that we can talk about dual nats and how they play, they have the best dual nats on paper. They have the best team within that regards. I think they are the best team in the Caribbean. Jamaica's put some respect on the Reggae Boys, man. They're an incredible team. I think they're going to fight well. Listen, whenever we get up against them, dude, Panama, man, I don't know what it is, but these guys get up for that game. It's always an exciting one. Like you were saying earlier, I completely agree with you, dude. I think that Panama Jamaica game, it genuinely for me, might be the game of the tournament. Not game of the tournament, but game of the group phase. I think that's going to be an incredible game. It's going to be one to watch if you are a neutral. A lot of fun. Obviously, me being Panamanian, I'm rooting for my boys, and I'm confident we can't pull
Stylistically,
away with
it matches
st-
up well.
stylistically. It matches well, and honestly, dude, statistically as well, tacticianally as the coaches. Obviously, Steve McLaren's going to try to break down our back line of five, and within Panama, we're really going to have a battle in the midfield with a Casey Palmer, with a Kareem Dixon, and the guys that they have, and obviously, like you were saying earlier, for us, no Coco Carrasquilla, which leads me to my team, obviously, with the boys, the Canaleros, man. Listen, Julian, you were kind of talking earlier about Costa Rica, your own guys. I kind of feel like we almost, Panama, in our mindset, have an approach where I don't want to say it's an arrogance or an ego about us, but we're kind of coming into this tournament kind of like how you guys were, in the sense of we're more focused about other stuff. We're kind of thinking about that. Listen, Coco Carrasquilla did pick up an injury with Pumas in La Liguilla, which, if I'm not wrong, it was the quarterfinals against Monterrey. Obviously got out early in that game, got injured, has not played since. But the thing is, many reports were saying that he was going to play, wasn't. Listen, came out, already Coco has already announced it himself as well. He doesn't want to risk it. World Cup qualifiers are coming up soon. He wants to get back into form this summer, recover fully, and get ready for, quite arguably for our history, the biggest games that we've ever had in the nation, in the history of our nation. So, and respectfully, I respect that decision. I completely understand. I love the Gold Cup. I love the prestige about it. It's our tournament. It's our, it's in our back home. So it's everything for us. But listen, there's more important games out there. His absentee, though, like you said, dude, it's going to be huge. In that Belize game, and even in the Nicaragua game at times, you could just tell there's just a lack of whether it's his beautiful, luscious hair or his beautiful, amazing skills to be able to pass with his right boot on the outside of it and just get that ball upfield to Ismael Diaz or to Fajardo or to whoever it is. But he will be missed. He will be very, very much missed. Not just only somebody that can really show the game and pick up the speed, but he can command the field. Whatever Coco does, Panama rolls with, and a lot of times we win games, So I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Obviously, Edward Cedeno, Victor Griffith, there's some other young names that are coming through the roster. Some guys that we're going to see potentially maybe try to take that spot, try to be that backup guy for him, Carlos Harvey.
I just always have a hard time knowing that either Fajardo or Waterman's up there, dude. God,
and little bit of news on those two guys. They will not be in this tournament. Like you were talking about earlier, dude, picking up a couple injuries.
That's for the best.
And I'm not going to lie, a little bit of me was kind of like, oh, geez, man, like, this sucks. Listen, with Waterman, it's one of those, and I will say it, personally, it's not that I don't believe, they're not the clinicalist strikers. They're not, obviously, these guys that are going to put it in the back of the net immediately and the most confident. But Fajardo has done the job for us in the past. He's done enough of a job to be able to get us where we're at. And it was pretty damn far, dude. Obviously, a Gold Cup final in the last go around, a Nations League final, which literally Cecilia Waterman's goal against the United States got us into the last final of it. So this team has a lot of soul searching to do, and we need to do it now, because I would rather figure it out this summer against these types of opponents, a solid Jamaica, a Guatemala, which on a good day could provide some challenges, and a Guadeloupe team that's going to be physical, and they're going to be rowdy, and they're going to be rambunctious, and they're going to want to get a result. So with all due respect, I think these teams are strong. In regards to Panama, I think Thomas Christensen, I think these are the type of games that we love. Obviously, other than Jamaica, because I wouldn't look at Jamaica as a much lesser than us. I think we are better on paper, and we are better overall as a cohesive unit and a team than them. Guatemala and Guadeloupe are below us. I just feel as if that we're able to command the game early with both of these teams. We should be fine. Keep it rolling. Like I said, Anibal Godoy, other names, honestly, he probably won't even be playing, but Luis Manotas Mejia on the bench, Cuti Mosquera, guys like that already have that experience, that have played in these types of games and these types of environments, especially specifically leaning towards that Guatemala game. I think it's going to be humongous for them to be able to step up in these games and really provide. Like you said, dude, obviously, last time we played Guatemala, beat them 3-0. Last time we played Jamaica, we lost 1-0 in the third place game of the Nations League.
You beat up Guatemala 3-0. I think it was a friendly, but the last before
no.
2023,
that was a Nations League.
Okay,
tied 1-1
because it's not showing that for some reason. Yeah, you tied 1-1 in Nations League 2023 against Guatemala, and then March earlier that year, you tied them 1-1. So that's why it wasn't 3 in a row, but it was 2.
That was a friendly. I remember that, dude. Listen, I'm talking about, we're the only starter on the team might have been Cesar Yanis, which that was just kind of one of those games
about
that
Nations
League.
All
right. Well, we beat them 3-0. We beat them 3-0
no,
at home. Yeah,
this is Nations League.
I mean,
2023.
that was in Guatemala. And that ref absolutely just was bonkers. Listen, I'm not here to go on my TED Talk right now about how Guatemala sucks and Panama is going to beat up on them.
Damn, you had the trifecta, man. Fajardo, Diaz, and Waterman up top.
Listen, dude, Ismael Diaz scored
The
a banger
goats.
goal against Nicaragua. Listen, you like to clown on these guys, but Julian, we have beaten you guys 7 times in a row. So go ahead and keep that in the back of your mind. But listen, anyways, my final prediction for this group, dude. I was tossing it. I just think Panama. I think we're going to be able to do it. I have the confidence in the boys. I know they can do it. I know Thomas Christensen can get everything in check. Little shout out. Obviously, like I said, this is a guy that his leader. I already said his name, but I'm going to say it again. Anibal Godoy, Capi, Samurai. He's got to be huge, man. He's got to get these guys riled up in the locker room. Listen, I'm ready to put the beat down on Guatemala, especially Guatemala. Listen, all the fans, all the people watching us, bring it. Come on, let's go. I don't care in the comment section. I'm ready. I want all the smoke. I'm ready for it, man. But yeah,
Will
I
said
think
y'all
he's
don't
got to
even
be a.
play soccer, bro. He said you guys don't even play
I, I,
football. He's like,
yeah. Listen,
he's like, I didn't know you guys played it. He's like, yes. Will
I,
told me that before. He was like, honestly, I'm shocked
yeah,
Guatemala's in the Gold Cup because I had no idea they
yeah.
played soccer.
Yeah,
That's what
well,
he
I'll be
said.
real with you, dude. I honestly, I didn't even really look at them as much of a challenge. So we'll find out. We'll find out, man. But I'm not gonna eat my words too much. But listen, Panama first. Give me Jamaica second. I think Guadeloupe's gonna be tough. Give me Guadeloupe third and Guatemala in last.
Mm.
But before people start saying this is gonna be a tight group, this is gonna be a tight group. This is not gonna be an easy cupcake walk. Nobody's gonna get 9 points. I'll say that. Even for Panama, I
No, I don't
really
believe
genuinely
anybody's
see.
getting 9 points. And I
I
think
can't see it in this one.
maybe it would be Jamaica, but I don't think anybody
Mm.
gets 9 points here.
If it's anyone, I think it's Panama, but I don't see it. I don't see it. But we'll see. We will see. Group D, though, this is an exciting one, dude. I like this one. United States, Saudi Arabia, Haiti, Trinidad. Julian, before we even keep it rolling, the way I just pronounce it to you is the way I got it. US first, Saudi Arabia second, Haiti third, Trinidad fourth. I know, dude. We listen. That loss yesterday against Curacao, that was kind of for me. Just did not seem right. It didn't sit well with me to see my Haitian brothers not compete that well against Curacao. I don't know what it was. Obviously, both teams already qualified for the final stage of World Cup qualifying, but Haiti just kind of got dog walked, man. It was just rough. Did not look the best. Obviously, no Fafa Pico because he will be competing at the Club World Cup. Dukins Nasson, if I'm not incorrect, also has an injury right now, so his status is a little bit weary going into this cup. Hate's biggest thing, dude, and it's always been the same thing, is they're leaky, man. They're leaky, they're leaky, they're leaky. Obviously, they have Ricardo Ade representing in the center back role for them. The Liga Deportivo de Quito man plays over in Ecuador, but he's just one man. He can't do it all, dude. And this team just really does not seem to be able to click it there well. They don't also have a very real, true CDM that could help out kind of maybe if they want to go back to a line of five whether it is. But I just feel like Haiti, odd man, it hurts me because listen, dude, a couple weeks ago, like you said, dude, on our tier list, this was a team that I had kind of as a dark horse, and I still do believe that they have the talent and they can put the goals and they can score. But the problem is, I feel like they're going to get into a slug match, dude. Whether it's Saudi Arabia or even Trinidad, the U.S. will see with. But this is a team that they always kind of seem to be on the wrong side of it if they're going into a slugfest and they're just trying to fight it out. Regards to Trinidad, decent Unity Cup, played well against Jamaica, 3-2 loss. Obviously ended up losing the game, but still, I mean, they were able to see some younger guys, some strong talents. Obviously, they played you guys last night, a 2-1 loss. Listen, dude, Levi Garcia, we've been saying his name for quite some time now. He's a guy he's he can cause some chaos, dude. This is no, this is not some pickup dude in the Sunday league and he looks good and he went to the fourth division of Sweden, dude. No, this is Levi Garcia who plays at Spartak Moscow, man. And he plays with your boy, Manfred. So, over in Russia. But Trinidad's an interesting one. Obviously, in regards to Saudi Arabia, this is a team that just obviously missing a lot of their lights, Al Dasari and other guys that are going to be at the Club World Cup as well. But, on paper, they're a strong team. They have a lot of cohesiveness. A lot of these guys, they've all grown up together, all played throughout the youth rank systems, whatnot together. So I think there's that team build. But obviously, this tournament is going to be played here. It's not even their tournament. Saudi Arabia is just kind of, I think now in their eyes, that they just qualified for the fourth round of Asia World Cup qualifiers. This is just kind of going to be prep games for them as well, in the sense of kind of like talking about earlier about my boys in Panama. I think it's just going to be kind of more of like okay, what do we need to work on? What do we really, really need to pinpoint before we go into these huge, huge games coming up in September? But yeah, I'm gonna keep it like that, dude. I really don't want to say it, and it just oh, it irks me, dude. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I'm gonna go US first, Saudi Arabia second, Haiti third, Trinidad fourth.
I'm going USA first, obviously, even though as poor as the showing that they've had the past year, I mean, the past week, I meant to say, they're still USA in the Gold Cup, man. They just get shit done. Like they win these games they're supposed to win, it feels like. Obviously, it's not looking too hot, and maybe this might be the first tournament where they get knocked out early. I mean, it's possible. I mean, they look really, really poor, but it's hard to bet against them in tournaments like this because even with MLS and C squads that they put out here, they won it like in 2021 with a C squad. So,
Yeah.
with honestly a worse team than what they're fielding now. So I have to pick them number one. Number two, I'm actually going to go with Haiti here.
Okay.
I know that they
Okay.
lost to Curacao pretty bad, but I'm taking that as a one-off. I've liked everything that I've seen from them leading up to that game. I thought they've been really good offensively. Yes, losing Fafa Picault is going to be a huge, huge miss, but they still got a lot of shooters on this team. I believe in Haiti being able to put up goals. In terms of Saudi Arabia, my one concern with Saudi Arabia is every time Saudi Arabia rolls out like a B squad like this, it seems like they're just really poor. I mean, I know from about a year and a half ago, Costa Rica, we had a friendly with Saudi Arabia. We beat them 3-0 with a U23 squad. And I know they had first team players on there because I recognize some of the players. I'm drawing a blank on their names and I'll probably butcher it anyways. But I know the faces and I know the numbers and everything. And they got handled pretty bad. Obviously, that was coming post World Cup too, where they're riding high and they're hot because they got the Argentina victory. But it just and if you look at the history of Asian teams coming over to Concacaf, I just think they really struggle, and it feels like the Saudi
Mhm.
Arabia team's probably gonna phone it in. Like, I'm just not expecting much out of them. I think a lot of people are, for whatever reason. I think honestly, people who probably don't know ball, to be honest with you. But I'm not super high on this team. I have a lot of faith in Haiti to be able to get it done. I think the game's gonna be really good. And in terms of Trinidad and Tobago, this Trinidad and Tobago team is not good. They're very poor. This is not the same team
Oh,
that was making it to
that
qualifying in the
that's a lot to
octagonal or
say
the
from a guy
hexagonal.
that just got a goal scored on by them, but okay.
Okay, by their best player and got caught in transition, which that's what they're going to have to do to get any sort of result. But
Still
I
scored a
watched every
goal,
minute of
but
that game.
yeah.
They got absolutely diced up in the midfield and in the defensive line. We had about 20 something goals. I mean 20 something shots, like 10 or 12 on goal, and that's just the ones that were shot. There was still a bunch of balls that rolled right in front of net that no one was there to clean it up. So you're realistically talking about they gave up, I don't know, probably close to 20 like really good chances. And that game could have been really worse, a lot worse if it wasn't for their goalkeeper absolutely going insane. The dude's 40 years old, doesn't even have a club, and that guy was playing like prime Keylor Navas. Like it
Marvin
was
Phillips,
insane.
man.
I couldn't that good put up a fuck, and he blocked some snipes, dude. He blocked some that goals that would have been golazos. Like I'm not even joking.
He
Braun,
blocked
like,
some
hit one from
360 no
outside the
scopes.
box,
Uh,
and I was like, yeah, he was sniping. He was he had a bulletproof vest on, bro. I'm telling you.
dude,
He was
bro just
stopping
came back
shots.
from he just came back from Russia, did a couple tours over there, man, and he
Yeah,
said,
he
"Listen,
did a
I'm
couple
battle
tours of
tested, baby."
Ukraine, man. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
bomb squad. I don't know what he did, but he
Right.
but
Oh my
but,
Hey, now, Julian, Marvin Phillips, dude, did this guy if you looked at him after last night, bomb squad, this guy, dude, he went into Ukraine and he fought frontline militia, and then he went and he said, "Listen, I'm gonna go to Gaza. I'm gonna
he was just
frontline
swatting
militia."
that shit, bro.
Yeah, dude, this guy, would you say this guy, if you looked at him, would you believe he was in the military? Marvin Phillips.
I feel like this is a trick question.
There's no trick answer.
I the fact that you brought it up and be like, this man was in the military.
He might dude, honestly, Julian, I don't know if he was Secret Service or if he was full-time security guard. Dude, but you're
He
right.
was a border control, bro. He was border
He
patrol. He was he
he
was he
he
was blocking them.
he was working with the ICE agents, dude. He was doing something, man. But yeah, listen, no, you're right, dude. This guy was a beast last night, looked incredible, played well. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you on that, dude. Listen, you guys could have had a couple more goals if it wasn't for Marvin Phillips. So
Yeah, and I think that and Trinidad too, like, they're home merchants, like, let's be real, like, their biggest
yeah,
results against the US and other
agree with
things,
that.
it's been at home, and they've always struggled away. I mean, Jesus Ferreira absolutely torched these guys 2 years ago. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I wanna say that was the game where he got nicknamed the
The
Pirate of the
Caribbean,
Caribbean because he was
the
just scoring.
Caribbean pirate, baby. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and, look, this Trinidad team is just they're not as good as what they were, they're not good away from home. Like I said, I literally watched them last night, and they were getting killed, and it could have been just because we were just playing that good and on fire, but I think it's a combination of that, but also they were just leaving way too many open spaces. They I will say the center backs were able to close some gaps, pretty
uh-huh,
effectively and pretty well, but at the end of the day, man, they still gave up I'm not even a lot of chances that like I said, that game could have easily been like 7-1, 8-1, something like that if the ball would have rolled the right way. But with all that being said, yeah, those are my final predictions for all 4 groups. I think those are yours, man. You got any final thoughts?
yeah. Dude, no, listen, honestly, real, jokes aside, dude, I'm excited for this, man. You know, we've been talking a lot about it, Julian. Listen, this is the last big test, not just only obviously for the teams that are going to be coming back in September for World Cup qualifiers, but for including USA, Mexico, and Canada. This is the last go around tournament before the World Cup. You know, the fever is really starting to come true. It's starting to get there. Obviously, it literally still feels like yesterday. Gonzalo Montiel was kicking the or excuse me, the Gold Cup, the World Cup winning penalty for Argentina, you know, and to think that, you know, next summer we're going to be hosting the tournament in our backyard. But yeah, it's excited, man, to get a little bit of a preview of it here in the Gold Cup, to see the host nations, obviously see our teams, our respective boys within the Canaleros and the Ticos. But yeah, man, I'm excited overall. So
Yeah, me too. I think it's gonna be I have a good feeling about this tournament. I think things are gonna be a little different. I don't think it's
yeah,
going to be a USA Mexico free ride anymore. I think CONCACAF as a whole has gotten a lot stronger. I think there's a lot of missing pieces for some of these bigger teams.
yeah,
Will Canada get their first trophy in 25 years? We shall see. But with all that being said, if you guys enjoyed the show and you want to see more content like this, CONCACAF and whatnot, me and Will, we're not quite sure what games yet, but we're thinking about trying to do some live streams. So make sure to
yep,
ring that notification bell to keep up with that. So if you want to catch us live talking games and want to chat with us, we haven't really chatted with any of our fans. So if you're a regular and want to chat with us, be on the lookout for some of those live streams. I'm really excited. I think those are going to be pretty good and pretty fun. Uh fun times. But and if you're listening on the audio platform, please make sure to leave a rating. And yeah, we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
peace.